Part A, Basic Setup. Attach the temperature probe to the LabQuest 2 device. Then open the LabQuest app. Using the stylus, set up the sensor to indicate which type of temperature probe you're using with this device. In this experiment, we're using the Direct Connect temperature probe. Then set up the mode, rate, and duration of the experiment. These values are located in your lab manual. Part B, Curve 1, Freezing Point of Lauric Acid. Using a hot plate, heat a beaker full of 300 milliliters of water. Tear a container which can hold a test tube on an analytical balance. Then measure the mass of that test tube on that balance. Add enough lauric acid to fill the test tube approximately halfway. Measure the mass of the test tube and lauric acid, then subtract the mass of the test tube to determine how much lauric acid was added. Add the test tube and lauric acid to the container of water that has been heated. Attach the test tube to a utility clamp to hold it in place. Add the temperature probe to the test tube and lauric acid in order to monitor the temperature as the lauric acid melts. Once the lauric acid has completely melted, press play on the LabQuest app, then remove the test tube from the heated water and place the test tube in a container of room temperature tap water. Continue to collect the data for the next 10 minutes. Once the run has completed, store the data by clicking the File cabinet in the top right corner. Part C, Curve 2, Freezing Point of Lauric Benzoic Acid Solution. Place the test tube with lauric acid back into a beaker with heated water to allow the lauric acid to melt. As the lauric acid is melting, measure out approximately 1 gram of benzoic acid. Add the benzoic acid to the test tube of lauric acid. Measure the mass of the test tube, lauric acid, and benzoic acid together. Place the test tube with the lauric and benzoic acid back into the beaker of hot water. Use the temperature probe to mix the solution until the benzoic acid is completely dissolved. Once the solution is completely dissolved, press play to begin collecting data. Remove the test tube from the beaker of hot water and place into a beaker of room temperature tap water. Continue to collect data over the next 10 minutes. Once data collection has ended, click Run To, then All Runs, and then save the data by clicking File, Save. Part D, Delta T determination. Using the Lauric program, open the saved file and highlight a horizontal and parallel section of the graph and click the Statistics button. This will show stats or the mean of those sections for each curve. Part E, Labeling and Printing Graphs in Lauric. Using the instructions in your lab manual, you'll perform 2 tasks. First, you will use the text annotation to annotate and label each curve, and the second, you will be printing the graph without the data table. Once you have completed these 2 tasks, next you will contact your assigned group members and determine each member's contribution to the formal lab report. Download the attached Lauric file and generate your own data analysis and graph that you should use to put into your formal lab report. Once all members have completed all sections of the lab report, you will submit your final compiled lab report using the instructions on Blackboard.